Hi there, how's it going? I am MisterBo, and in today's video we're going to be talking about what I want to see in Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time. I've put together a little list of things that I hope we get in the game that I'd like to see either brought forwards from previous games, new additions that we maybe haven't seen before, or things that I maybe want changing from the old games. Before I go over that though, if you do enjoy this video, then let me know in the comments below and I'll be sure to do more things like this, as well as clicking that like button because it really does help get this video out to more people. If you aren't already, subscribe because there's going to be a ton of Crash Bandicoot 4 stuff over the next couple of weeks, and we may even be covering that Crash Bandicoot mobile game in a couple of days because it looks like they're teasing that over on the Twitter account. With that out of the way though, let's go over it. So, what is the first thing that I want to see in Crash Bandicoot 4? Well, harder boss fights. The thing that I feel like Crash Bandicoot has struggled with over the years is boss fights being firstly fun, engaging, and then a challenge. Now that isn't to say that none of the boss fights have ever been sort of fun and engaging and hard, because there certainly have been a few, but the majority of the boss fights we've seen in the Crash franchise have been a little bit lackluster. Take a look at the original games. 1, 2, and 3, obviously they got remade into the Insane trilogy, but most of the boss fights were kind of boring. You just kind of stood there, maybe moved around in a circle to dodge an attack, maybe moved left and right to dodge incoming fire. Every so often you have to spin an item back at a boss, otherwise you just wait until the boss is stunned, go up to them and then spin them. Pretty basic stuff, and again, not really that fun. So I would like to see more engaging boss fights. Have us doing maybe a couple of things in a boss arena. For instance, maybe you have a boss that is down the other end of a hallway, like we see with the Tiny Tiger fight in Crash Bandicoot 2 and the fight with Entropy in Warped. However, this time you have more area to move around. Over to your left and right, you have platforms you need to get up to, and maybe you need to spin a certain lever that then activates a pathway that you can move along to get to the boss, but halfway across, the pathway stops and you need to then look for another lever around the level left and right, hit that and then progress again. Just adding small little elements so it isn't just standing there waiting for the right moment would make it a lot more fun. Also, I'd like to see the bosses be just a tiny little bit more challenging. For instance, I don't want to see what you can do with Papu in Crash Bandicoot 1, and that is just sit on the chair and dodge his attacks, or basically just kind of skip the whole boss fight by jumping on his head continuously, not even waiting for him to attack really. So that is one of the main things that I want to see this game do a lot better than we've seen with previous Crash titles. Another thing I want to see is lots of characters. Now I don't mean just throw all the characters in this game like we saw with Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, though that was cool. That was a kart racing game and we don't need 55 characters in a story game. What I mean though is adding characters we maybe haven't seen in a while. Obviously that kind of doesn't work anymore because we've pretty much seen all those characters fairly recently, but give us some post Naughty Dog characters. Don't just rely on say Dingo Doll, Tiny Tiger, Ripperoo, Engine, and then that's kind of it. Expand out beyond the characters that we kind of have gotten used to over the original 3 games. Bring in someone like Entrance. Maybe make Pinstripe more of a threat in this game because he's only really been in a couple of games. We know we're getting Dingo Doll in this game, but I wouldn't be upset if we didn't see someone like Tiny Tiger because I feel like he is kind of almost in every game at this point. So give us characters we don't usually see, or characters who have had less screen time than other characters. And whilst you're at it, introduce some brand new characters. We saw Beanox do this with Nitro Fueled. They introduced Hasty, they introduced King Chicken, and people like them. Give us a couple of new characters that hopefully people will grow to love, whether those are good guys or whether those are bad guys. I don't mind, but at some point, I think we are going to have to see some new characters. Now the third thing I want to see in this game kind of loops back around to the harder boss fights. I want to see this game be challenging. Insane Trilogy, Crash 1, 2, and 3, pretty challenging. From my memory, Wrath of Cortex was fairly challenging in some of the levels, and then Twinsanity I actually thought was quite hard personally, but from there on out, Mind Over Mutant, Crash of Titans, they were fairly easy. I don't want to see this game be just a kind of snooze fest where I can just basically walk through all the levels and not die repeatedly. Obviously, I don't want every level to be absolutely insane, but every once in a while, give us a Stormy Ascent level of hardness. I think that would be really fun to have. Whether it's a mainline mission or just sort of an offshoot bonus mission that you can do so people don't get stuck, I want to see more challenge in the levels and the boss fights basically. Now Toys for Bob have said that they will be including the challenge that we know and love from the previous games, and it will sort of ramp up difficulty as you progress through the story, so hopefully they keep their word on that. Now another thing I want to see in this game is tons of secrets and Easter eggs. Now in the official reveal trailer we have already seen some Easter eggs in some of the levels. For instance, the futuristic city level where we can see Coco making her way through, we can see on the left and on the right there's a sign for CTR and there's a sign for Aku Aku. I hope we get a load of awesome little Easter eggs hidden throughout the different levels that are nice callbacks to previous games, and I think it'd be cool if maybe some of the different dimensions and levels we head to are alternate versions of levels from post Naughty Dog games, from either Twinsanity, Wrath of Cortex, Crash of the Titans, Mind Over Mutant. Tie those games into this game if they aren't already in some way through the story. Of course, Crash Bandicoot has also been known for secrets and cheat codes. Whether that's just bonus paths and bonus levels and maybe like a bonus warp room, I think we're going to see hopefully a lot of secrets in this game. And I would really like to see a load of cheat codes. Whether those are cheat codes to skip levels, I don't think we're going to be seeing that. But maybe more in line with what we saw in the Spyro Reignited trilogy, where you can perhaps change the color of Crash. Maybe like a big head mode. Maybe you put in a cheat code and you can unlock a different character to play as, similar to what we saw in Nitro Fueled and Crash Team Racing. Who knows, maybe we get a demo for another game coming out, whether that's some sort of Spyro or new Crash Bandicoot PvP game. I'd like to see some cheat codes. I don't expect level skips and that kind of stuff, but just some fun things that we can play around with. Now, one of the other big things I want to see in this game is a good story. Now, I'd argue that Crash Bandicoot has never really been known for its story. Yes, people know Crash, Coco, Cortex and the rest of the villains, and they know Crash collects crystals and crates. But apart from that, if you ask just some random casual person who plays games, what is the story of Crash Bandicoot, they probably wouldn't be able to tell you much more than that. So I'm hoping we get a memorable story that is actually good and helps contribute to the lore of Crash Bandicoot, if we're having some sort of lore to Crash Bandicoot. Obviously, with the introduction of the quantum masks and the whole time travel aspect, it seems like they're going to be giving us more story. Hopefully it has a nice conclusion and it all wraps up and maybe even leads us on to a future game. But I'd like this game to have a good story that sticks with you and isn't something that's just sort of tacked on alongside the actual gameplay of the game. And then the final thing that I want to see at the moment for Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time is replayability. Now, the Crash Bandicoot games have always pretty much been known for their replayability. You play through the main story and then you're done. If you're someone who likes to get 100% in games and collect everything, then you had the option to go and get all the gems for breaking all the crates, all the colored gems, try and get a quick time and get the platinum relic in the time trials, do the death runs and other stuff like that. Now, it's already been confirmed we are getting gem routes and we're also getting gems to collect all the boxes and stuff like that, so there's definitely going to be a lot of replayability, but I'm hoping for something just a little bit more. Whether that's the addition of new levels like we saw with the Insane trilogy of Stormy Ascent and Future Tense, or maybe there is some kind of co-op / multiplayer element to this game that actually allows us to do things over and over again and play against other people. I hope this isn't a play it for a month and then you're pretty much done with it. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, whilst yes a racer, had a ton of content post-launch that helped people play that game for almost a year. So maybe we'll see something like that with Crash Bandicoot 4, I certainly hope so. And there you have it, those are just a few of the things that I want to see added into Crash Bandicoot 4, whether that is additions from the old games, quality of life improvements, or just new things that I want to see added into this game which I think would help it in the long run. Of course, I'd love to know what you guys think about my list here, and of course, what do you want to see in Crash Bandicoot 4? Is there something that I haven't mentioned here that you're desperately hoping gets added in? Let me know in the comments below and let's discuss. If you did enjoy this video, then click that like button to help show your support and help this video get out to more people. If you aren't already, click that subscribe button so you stay up to date with all my future content. If you'd like to stay up to date with me or just chat with me, you can follow me over on Twitter at @IamMisterBo. I'm at about 750 followers over there and I'm trying to maybe hit 1,000 by the end of this year, so if you have a Twitter account, feel free to go ahead and follow me. Also, if you want to, you can join our Discord server, a link to that in the description below. Super chill place where we talk about all sorts of games, so it'd be awesome to see you over there. Apart from all that though, thank you very much for watching and for hanging out, I do really appreciate it, and as always, take care. Bye bye.